Everything we see, touch, and measure, including ourselves, is made of atoms. This sounds simple, but it creates a fascinating limitation. Our feelings, perceptions, and even the scientific tools we use are all built from the same stuff we're trying to study. Imagine trying to measure a ruler using another ruler made of the same slightly warped wood. You can get results, but the errors are built into the system itself. Our feelings and perceptions come from our nervous system, neurons passing tiny electrical signals, chemicals binding to receptors, and structures built from proteins and lipids. Because these are all made of atoms, they obey the same physical laws as the objects we observe. This means we can never step outside the universe to see it objectively. Our experience is always filtered through a biological machine built of the same building blocks. For example, eyes only detect light in a tiny slice of the electromagnetic spectrum, roughly 400 to 700 nanometers. We can't see radio waves, X-rays, or gamma rays without building tools. And those tools are also made of atoms, designed and calibrated by humans with our own sensory limits. What about scientific instruments? Even the most advanced telescope or particle detector relies on atomic scale processes, mirrors reflecting light, semiconductors converting photons to electrons, sensors vibrating at specific frequencies. These components have imperfections. Atoms can shift position, materials expand and contract with temperature, and quantum noise imposes fundamental measurement uncertainty. But when we measure the universe, we're peering through layers of filters and noise created by the nature of matter itself. This raises an intriguing question. Can we ever fully know reality, or only our version of it? Scientists try to overcome these limits by building instruments sensitive to ranges we can't naturally detect, like infrared cameras or gravitational wave detectors. But even these are extensions of our senses, not replacements for the underlying fact that we are part of the system we're observing. For example, the James Webb Space Telescope can see galaxies from billions of years ago, yet it still works through detectors with atomic scale imperfections and must be interpreted by scientists with human cognitive biases. So while we have pushed far beyond the boundaries of our natural senses, the irony remains. Every insight is shaped by atoms studying atoms. The better we understand this, the more carefully we can design experiments, check our assumptions, and avoid overconfidence in what our instruments or our own eyes seem to tell us. Our sensory organs, eyes, ears, skin, nose, and tongue, are made of atoms arranged in complex biological molecules. And these atomic structures interact with incoming signals, such as photons, sound waves, or chemical molecules. However, their range and sensitivity are restricted by the physical limits of these materials. For example, the retina can only detect certain wavelengths of light because the photoreceptor pigments have fixed energy absorption range. This means that entire regions of reality, such as ultraviolet or infrared light, are invisible to us without technological assistance. Bees can see ultraviolet patterns on flowers that humans cannot, and our senses are like windows with tinted glass. Only part of the outside world gets through. Even when sensory receptors capture information, our brain processes it through networks of neurons that also follow atomic and molecular rules. Neural firing speeds, synaptic chemical reactions, and neurotransmitter diffusion limit how quickly and accurately we perceive changes, and the brain compresses and interprets incoming signals, introducing bias and error. This means our perception is not an exact replica of reality, but a constructed model, and thus atomic-level delays and transformations shape what we experience as reality. We cannot distinguish two flashes of light if they occur less than (1/50th of a second apart, and neural processing is like receiving a delayed, edited live stream of the world. Because our sensory and scientific instruments are made of atoms, they are subject to quantum mechanical principles. And at very small scales, uncertainty in position and momentum, Heisenberg uncertainty, prevents precise measurement. Biological sensors cannot directly detect single subatomic events without specialized quantum detectors, making the atomic construction of our tools a barrier to observing the most fundamental levels of reality directly. Only indirect evidence and statistical patterns can be used. We cannot see electrons directly, but infer their existence through cloud chamber tracks. And measuring the quantum world with atomic tools is like trying to write with a paint roller on a grain of rice. Atoms in our bodies and instruments are never perfectly still. They vibrate due to thermal energy, and this random motion creates noise that interferes with both sensory perception and precise measurement. Thermal noise limits the resolution of microscopes, the sensitivity of detectors, and even the steadiness of our hands. The hotter the environment, the greater the noise, and the harder it becomes to isolate faint signal. This is why many sensitive instruments must be cooled to near absolute zero. Infrared detectors are often cooled with liquid nitrogen to reduce thermal noise, and thermal noise is like trying to take a clear photograph while your camera is constantly shaking. Our tools, being atomic in nature, are vastly larger than the smallest scales we try to investigate. And this mismatch means we cannot directly manipulate or sense phenomena at the Planck scale or at extremely high energies without indirect methods. Even the most advanced nanotechnology is clumsy compared to the subatomic world, and biological perception evolved to detect macroscopic, survival-relevant features, not quantum events or cosmic distances. This creates a permanent scale gap in our direct experience. We cannot feel the gravitational pull of a proton, even though it is physically present, and studying subatomic particles with atomic scale instruments is like using a net with huge holes to catch sand. Every scientific instrument, from telescopes to particle accelerators, is built from materials with specific atomic and molecular properties. And these properties affect how the instrument interacts with energy and matter, leading to biases in the data. A detector's atomic lattice, for example, might absorb certain wavelengths more efficiently than others, meaning our view of reality is filtered through the quirks of the atoms that make up our tools. Calibration can reduce, but never eliminate these biases. Silicon-based CCD sensors are less sensitive to infrared light compared to visible light, and measuring reality with atomic tools is like listening to music through a speaker that muffles certain notes. Atoms require a minimum energy input to change state in a way that can be detected, creating thresholds below which signals cannot be perceived or recorded. For our senses, this is seen in the faintest detectable light or softest audible sound, while for instruments, it defines detection limits such as the smallest measurable magnetic field or weakest radiation. Anything below this threshold is effectively invisible to us. Human ears cannot hear sounds below about 20 hertz, and detection thresholds are like a fence. You cannot see what's on the other side unless something tall enough crosses it. Because our tools are made of atoms, any measurement requires interaction between the measured system and the instrument's atoms. And at small scales, this interaction can disturb the system, changing the very property we wanted to observe. In quantum mechanics, this is known as the observer effect. And even in classical systems, the act of measurement can alter temperature, pressure, or composition. Thus, our atomic tools are never completely passive observers. Touching a very small droplet with a probe can cause it to evaporate, and measuring with atomic tools is like checking tire pressure by letting some air out each time. Because both our perceptions and instruments are bound by the physics of atoms, our understanding of reality is always partial and filtered, meaning there may be aspects of the universe that are permanently beyond our reach, not because they do not exist, but because our atomic nature prevents direct access. The best we can do is create models that approximate reality within these constraints, and recognizing this fosters both humility and creativity in science. It also raises questions about whether truly complete knowledge is possible for beings made of atoms. We cannot directly perceive the curvature of space-time, but infer it through gravitational lensing, and our pursuit of truth is like exploring the ocean while trapped inside a glass submarine. You can only see through the glass, never touch the water directly.